So it's really great to have you here. Really glad you had made it in. Was it a good train ride? Oh, great. That's awesome. Um, yeah, so we're just going to run down here and go over to field two, and I'll introduce you to the guys. We've got two guys down there right now in field two sowing some soybeans. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Hello? Yeah, I've got him right here. He was late with the train. We're on our way right now to pick up the guys over at field two, and then we'll be in for dinner. I don't know, like 15 minutes. All right, fine. I'll see you there. Sorry about that. That was the old lady. Well, anyway, we're just going to make our way down here to field two, like I said, and I'll introduce you to the guys. Really glad to have you here. I know that you will be a great benefit to our farm. So how was the train ride? Okay, that's great. Yeah, I heard you all were delayed up there. There was a big storm or something that had some trees across the rails. So we're just coming through town here. This is the town of Cherry Hills, and you'll be coming quite familiar with the town. There's our local vehicle shop. In fact, I think I missed my turn. We'll just cut through here. Got the local garden center across the road there. So field two is right up the street here. So yeah, and I know you're going to be a great candidate or a great asset to our organization. And I know on your resume it said you worked with large equipment before. So I've got quite the treat for you over here at Field 2. I think you said the largest equipment you did at your other job was the John Deere R9R series, and I think you did some big old case tractors. Is that correct? Oh, okay. Let me just check our GPS here and see where our guys are at. Okay. So yeah, like I said, we've got two guys down there working down in field two, and they'll be eager to get ready for dinner. So we've got a pretty nice operation. We do have some pretty big equipment. We're really glad to bring you on. Now, most of the fields that you're seeing here, they're not owned by us. They're owned by another farmer in town named Tex. But actually, I've got some news about Tex, and I'll share that with you and the other guys once we get down here. Here's our turn. So you might be able to see the guys working over there in field two. It looks like maybe they're back over the ridge, so we might just have to try to hunt them down. Let's see here. We got our field entrance coming up here. There we are. So yeah, let me just check our GPS overlay. We've got GPS on all of our vehicles. Yeah, it looks like the other guys are down there at the back end of the field. So we'll just make our way over there and see if we can't meet them here in the field, pick them up for dinner. So what did you say the most powerful tractor is that you drove? Was it what was it? 680 horsepower? Okay. Well, we've got some tractors in that range. So you should be pretty familiar with that. But we've also got a couple of surprises here. See if we can hunt these guys down. They should be just over this ridge. So we'll just maybe we'll just sit here and wait for them to pop up. Oh, there's one of them right now. Let's go over here and meet them a little bit. All right, let me get out and flag this guy down. That's right. That's the Big Bud 747 there. And he's pulling behind there a big Seahawk cedar. You just jump on in here and all right, we got our other cedar up here working. Now let me go run down here to get him. So yeah, that's our Big Bud 747. I know that was in retirement, but we've got an arrangement, and we pulled him out of retirement, and he's going to be kind of working for us. It's kind of a we kind of call this arrangement a kind of a working museum. You know, we talked to the guys that were kind of curating the Big Bud in retirement, and we basically got them to agree that it would be best if that tractor actually was working and wasn't just sitting around basically deteriorating. Let me stop this guy. So yeah, and then we've got this other tractor. We've got a Fendt Tri-6, and now this is this and the Big Bud. They're kind of brother and kin in that they're one-off tractors, and we've got the only one in the world right here, and it's also kind of a working museum with this piece. But together, these guys put about 2,000 horsepower down to the ground, and we're going to be making use of them quite a bit. Here we've got our big Seed Hawk 980 seed and fertilizer support cart for our big old sowers here. So let's go ahead and take the guys on in to dinner, and we'll talk a little bit more on our way in. Alright, so I was talking about Tex earlier, and said I'd wait till we got the guys together to tell you what was up. So I'd heard that big old Tex had some medical issues, and he had a guy lined up to come in, and he was hoping to come in and work on his farm, basically help him out. But I think the guy's name was Jerry. It turns out I think he got another offer here to go down to Texas and manage a farm. So Big Tex, he's kind of in some pretty dire shapes, and the way it sounds is he's going to be without much help this year, and has actually talked about possibly selling the farm as early as next spring. So we're really eager because we're thinking about buying some of the land up there and expanding our business, and that's why we brought you in. We want to kind of show you the ropes of what's going on here down at Cherry Hills, and see if you would make a great candidate to run that second farm for us next season. So we're really hoping that'll work out. He's got about 5 or 6 fields up there that he owns. So we're looking to buy all that property, and to do so, we're going to have to bank quite a bit of money this year. So here we are at our main farm. This is the Jones farm. It's been in our family for about 5 generations, I believe. So we'll just pull on in here and go on in and eat our supper, and then after that we'll come on out and I'll give you a little tour of the farm, and we'll see maybe we can get some mowing done. We've got Tex used to be our main supplier for grass for our sheep and our cattle, and you know, since he's closing up shop, we're going to have to find our own source for grass at this point. You know, I'm always forgetting to shut my truck off. So let's all go on in for dinner, and we'll call up later. All right, well, that was a pretty good dinner. So let's just give you a little tour of the farm while we're out here. We've got our John Deere Gator over here that we're just going to jump on in. That way we can kind of drive across the street, and we've got a pretty big farm here, so we don't have to run around. It's starting to get a little dark. All right, so this is our main farmyard here. We've got obviously our big silos where we store all kinds of our crops, and these silos are pretty nice. We put in a digital information board last year to help us know what we've got stored in all of our in our silos there. So you can see we've still got some grain stored up from last year. We just pulled off. We've got a fair amount of straw that we've got stored there, and what we really need to do is get our grass built up and our silage built up, because like I said, we were getting all of our stuff from Tex, but if he's not going to be doing it anymore, then we're going to have to kind of self-source ourselves there. So over here we've got ourselves a fermenting silo, and this is a really great tool. We can just dump grass in here. We can dump chaff in here, and we'll get silage out of that. So we've got two great mixing machines here. This particular mixing machine is making our pig food, and all we need to do is put some ingredients in here in the front and give it some time, and then we'll get some pig food out of that. This mixing machine we got for our cow power food. We're got it full of straw, but we need to collect some grass, and we need to pull some silage out of our fermenting silos to get that up and running. And then over here we've got a compost master. We use compost for various things around the farm, and as it turns out, like I said, we were a fourth generation farm owner here, and as a result we actually end up we've got family that run a lot of the businesses around town, and we've got obviously arrangements with the other businesses that were kind of not family owned, and we sell compost to various places, and we use compost. We've got a nice our third cousin runs a nursery right down the street, a tree nursery, and we provide them compost for their trees and their little saplings. So we'll probably be taking a load of compost down to them here in a day or so. And now we've got our buildings here. So here we've got our big this building is just right now is holding our big cultivator. This is our big bud shed and our fence shed. We'll be storing our two big tractors in there. We've got a big old mother bin right here. This is something that they use out in the Australian outback quite a bit, and we had one of these actually brought in, shipped into us, and we're going to be using that to help store our grain and collect our grain out on the fields. Up here we've got our harvester barn. We've got our two cat harvesters and our grain and corn headers, and then we've got ourselves a forage harvester here. This is our storage barn for our seeders and our planters. So you see right now we've got our two Great Plains planters here, and then obviously our two big seeders are out there on the field. We've got some big old storage bins for our liquid and solid fertilizer and seeds here. So we like to make a lot of the things that we're going to use on the farm. So we manufacture. We've got access to a manufacturer for liquid and solid fertilizers. So we're going to be storing some of that. This is our big old horse plow. It's still got to be cleaned off. We just finished plowing up all of our fields. And this shed is our kind of our grass working shed. Like I said, we're hopefully going to mow some grass here before the night's out. We've got a big old bale wagon there, and we've got a front rake to help us pick things up. And now this interesting little contraption. This is kind of one-off deal that we've got with New Holland. They're thinking about making a self-propelled square baler. So we were actually able to arrange a deal where we were going to demo that for the next year. And if it all works out good, they're looking to go into production with that. So over here we've got two of our Case Titan fertilizer spreaders. These will spread our solid fertilizer. I don't think we've got anything in these two sheds at the moment. So there we've got a seed master. That's what we use to kind of manufacture and prep our own seeds. Here we've got our two forage wagons and our big old Krone Big M mower we're going to be using here in a bit. So now we're coming around here. This is our milk tanker. We got to sell. We transport our own milk to the dairy. And then this is kind of our truck and trailer area. Let me just go ahead and get on out, and we'll kind of walk this area for you. So we've got our standard grain trailer here, and then this particular trailer is our seed and fertilizer support trailer. And this is our flatbed that we use to transport all kinds of things. You can see we've got that trailer there. Those sides there, they lift up, and we can load from the side or the back. So we really love our old school trucks. So we got ourselves some Mack trucks there from the 50s, I believe, maybe early 60s. And then to complement that, we've got here a dual axle back truck. Got ourselves a dual layer, dual stack animal trailer there. Got a low loader in case we need to transport some stuff around them fields or around the roads. Then we got ourselves a fuel tanker. We do actually manufacture biofuel. We've got access to a biofuel manufacturing plant, and we'll be transporting and selling our own biofuel as well as bringing it back here to the farm. And then we've got a dump truck here that we're going to use to do various things. And then we've got a support truck here that's actually a hook lift trailer truck, and right now we've got an auger bin on the back that we use to kind of run around the fields and empty our harvesters. So that's the main farm. Let's just run across the street now and show you our cattle. Oh, there's our shell fuel trailer that we use to kind of refuel things out in the fields. So all of our animals across the street. Kind of helps with the and during the wintertime we collect wood chips and store them up, and in the wintertime we dump those into there and help fuel the farm or heat the farm. We got some chickens there, and we've got ourselves a nice sauna in the back. Thankfully, there's not much traffic on this particular road. Let's get our gates open. So here we have our cow pasture. Let's close our gate. So we kind of have not really free range cattle, but they're not overly fenced in either. There's a nice pond back there that we can pull our water up out of. So we're collecting some manure. That's good to see, because we're going to need to take a load of that down probably tomorrow to our nursery buddies. so they can get going with their saplings. So here we've got a John Deere tractor we use for our front loader duties. We've got a nice hook lift trailer there with a big old water tank. And we're going to be using that to maintain our greenhouses. We've got that's up the street, and then we've got a water tank there for maintaining our animals. Here we got ourselves an old Ford dump truck we use to kind of help care for our animals. We'll use that to bring grass over and silage over for our cattle, and for our sheep or grass, and then we'll use that to take pig food down to the pigs. We got our telehandler. We use that for our we've got a little old water tank down at our pigs area. I'll show you, and we're going to use our telehandler for that, and we'll probably use that for some other random odd jobs. So here we have our cow areas. This is where we're going to be feeding our silage here in this big long feed trough. And then we're going to come around here, and we've got our grass trough back here in the main pasture we're going to be using for grass. So there's our grass trough. So we already have some, we've got some sheep wool there. And this is also where we're going to have to pull up our truck to collect our milk. So we've got some wool already forming out here. We've got some guys come in and kind of do an early sheep shearing. So as they do some more sheep up, we'll have that. And then in this gate, we're not going to go in the gate because we got our sheep there, and but you will need to go in the gate there to dump grass into the feed trough and the water for the sheep. Actually, I think the water is back. Yeah, the water's over there for the sheep, but the grass trough is definitely in the fenced area. So let's make our way down to the pigs, and then we'll come up here and see if we can't get some grass cut and collected before nighttime. So our sheep, our pigs are right down the street here. And we could have drove on through the sheep area because there's a secondary gate, but you know, we don't need to be disturbing the sheep. They're a little skittish sometimes for power equipment. So again, our pigs are kind of free roaming in here. The whole area is fenced off, but when you come in here, you need to be careful that we don't hit any sheep as we come down the drive. We've got a nice little pond here to pull our water up out of. And this is the main sheep area, or pig area. This is where we'll be bringing in our pig food and dumping it in there. Right now they're a little hungry because we kind of ran out of pig food, and that's why we need to get that pig mixer up and running pretty quick. And then this is our cool little water tank. Let me show you kind of how this works, and we'll talk about it, but obviously you all will be using it here in a bit. So this connects to our telehandler, and it's just a hook attachment, and then you run some chains up around these buckles there and hook up to the hook, and then the telehandler just picks this up and dumps your water out into your water trough, and then when you need to fill it, you just kind of bring it over here to the water, drop her all down in, and let her fill up. I think this thing holds about 4,000 liters of water. All right, let's see if we can get on up there to the back on up to the main farm, and let's see if we can get some grass cut. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and go through the sheep area. We'll just keep a wide berth so we don't scare these guys. All right. So it looks like we might have about another 35 minutes or so of sunlight, daylight. So let's see how much we can get mowed here. We've already cleared off the only grass meadow that we had. So we've already collected grass off that, and yeah, we've got quite the berm of grass around our fields. So we're just going to go ahead and just collect grass off, mow grass kind of around the fields. Up here we've got big old field 3. This field we just finished sowing or planting corn into. And then down the road a little bit, down by the pigs, down past the pigs, down past the tree nursery, we've got our field number 1, and we put sugar beets in that field. So we'll be collecting sugar beets off that field. And we'll be using that to obviously store for our pig food. Alright, so I'm just going to break character there for a little bit, and we're just gonna chat while I go around here and collect some grass. So we're gonna do big boys, big toys on Cherry Hills here, and we've already got ourselves 100 sheep. We've got ourselves I think 75 or 80 pigs and 100 cows. We're going to need to collect some grass here because we need to get our power food mixer up and running. So this series is not going to focus only on farming. We are going to also try to hit every industry that is on this map. This map has a ton of secondary, I guess I'll call them secondary industries. And we're going to try to not hit the trees. We're going to try to hit all of those industries and get them all up and running on this series. We're going to try to kind of make this almost a let's play / map how-to series, where we'll explain pretty much, or hopefully explain, how to get everything up and running, demonstrate it, and obviously collect the rewards. Our end game is to role play, purchase fields 8, 9, 11, and 12 come next spring. We're going to play 12 game days per year, so each game day will be the equivalent of 1 month. Right now we are toward the end of our first game day, first official month of January. We'll just call it January. We could start our year in April if we wanted to, and then basically come back in April of next year. So that's our end game, is to buy that field, that farm up there after at least or at a minimum, or should I say a maximum of 12 game days, and be able to buy those fields up. So our first industry that we're going to get up and running is this Wilson tree nursery. We've already taken some, I think, compost down to there, and we need to take some manure down and some water. We'll get them up and running. So there to our right, that's field 1. That is in sugar beets. So that is going to pull off quite the sugar beet harvest. We should have more sugar beets than we'll ever need with the pigs that we're going to have. Field 3 here, this massive field, is planted in corn. This should give us plenty of corn for our pigs and for sell. And then up there in field 2, as I said, we were planting soybeans. We're going to continue to plant soybeans up in that field, and we're going to finish that field off in soybeans, and then we'll have 2 of our main ingredients for our pig food, and then we'll probably turn around and my plan is to put grass in field 1 so that we have enough grass, because right now the only grass that we have is in that grass meadow 19, and it's really not big enough to support 100 sheep and 100 cattle. So we're going to have to put grass on field 1 there. The next big industry that we're going to get up and running is some of the sawmill industries, where basically we just need to cut lumber and sell us some logs, or put some logs up there. So there's a forage wagon. So I'm turning around because I've got the we put the train, what is it, the train drive, loco drive, whatever it is, mod in, and if you may have seen the train go by in a couple shots already. We've reskinned the train to be a Southern Pacific train, or no, Union Pacific train. So I was just wondering if maybe it's gonna come by here. I don't know. I don't have it set too fast, so it might not make its way around the map too quick. So what we're doing right now is we've got I've got 2 forage wagons with Follow Me set up. They're both turned on. They're both foraging. This particular forage wagon is the biggest forage wagon in the game. It has a stock capacity of 50,000 liters, but the particular forage wagon that we're using is a custom mod that I did, and it has a capacity now of 150,000 liters. So I didn't know how much grass we would pull off of this this outside of this field. I was really hoping we'd get well over 1 forage wagon full. So as the first forage wagon fills up, once it's full, it will stop foraging, but it will continue to follow, and then the second forage wagon will pick up you know, whatever's left on the ground. So once we fill both of these forage wagons, we'll basically have 300,000 liters of grass. We might still fill this first forage wagon up. We've got this is a pretty big field, and we might be halfway around at this point, and we're at 100,000 liters of grass, or 100,000 units of grass. Whoops. It's getting kind of dark. We should turn on our lights. Just whoa up here. Check the rear camera. There we go. So we'll just watch them catch up to us. So I hope you all enjoy this series. This is going to be more of a fun series, less of a career-based series. If you've watched my Serenity Valley series, I'm trying to play that more of a career base. We basically are earning all of our money, and we started this series with a $5 million loan through the Bank of Hagenstadt, and we have to basically repay our loan and get that debt down. We also have to make our loan payments, and our loan payments are pretty steep at, I think, 6% interest. So early on, we were having to make like $140,000, $180,000 interest payments every game night. We're working that way down, so we don't have a lot of banked money because we're still trying to pay down our loan. I think we've finally gotten below $2.5 million. Now on this series, I injected at the very start when I was prepping the map. I put $10 million in the bank, and we spent about $7 million of that, and then before I started up officially, we basically backed out our money down to this amount, $461,000. So that should be plenty to keep us rolling with anything that we might have to buy, any seed or fertilizer that we might have to buy before we can really get those production facilities up and running. We're also playing this map with the more realism, I guess that's what it's called. Is it called the more realistic beta mod? So you may see some behavior on the equipment I have gone in and added the XML code to all of the mod tractors. Well, not all of the mod tractors, but I mean, I didn't do the big M here because it's kind of a harvester, and I couldn't figure out how to mod the harvesters. But for the tractors, like the Challengers behind us, I have modded those to add the more realistic code to it. So you may see that these tractors behave a bit differently than the stock mods do. So we're just going to leave it there, and actually for episode 2, we'll come back. It'll be the next game day, and we'll start episode 2 on the second game day, and we'll go from there. So until next time, happy farming, y'all.